Hello. In this video, we are going to look at Java arrays, which is a reference data type in Java. So first, let us have a look at what is an array. As I said in the beginning, array is a reference data type. So what are data types? Data types, as we know in Java, each and every value has a data type. For example, empid here is a variable with a data type of int. Weight is a variable with a data type of double. Now, each of these variables of the primitive data types can store one value of the mentioned data type. So for example, if for the above variable empid, I assign 1020 to it initially, and then later I change it to 5045. Now, when I print the value present in the variable empid, what would I get? Would I get both of them, 1020 and 5045? No. As we said, primitive data types can store only one value of the mentioned data type. So in this case, the output will be 5045, the value which is later stored in that particular variable. Okay. So if we had only these primitive data types, and suppose I wanted to store the computer marks of 20 students, what would we have to do? We would have to declare 20 integer variables. Example, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, and so on till marks 20. Okay. Now, why do we store the values? Because we want to do some computation on those values. So example, if I want to find the average of these 20 marks, then my formula would be that double average is equal to marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3 plus marks 4, so on till marks 20, divide by 20.0. Why am I doing 20.0? To make it to convert it from integer division to double division. Okay, in Java, an integer division ignores the decimal part. Okay, so to convert it to a double, I'm making one of them as a double, 20.0. Now, okay, coming back to the point, what would I do? Marks 1 plus marks 2 plus marks 3, so on till marks 20. Imagine if I had 50 students or 50 marks, then I would have to add 50 such variables. And this is not at all scalable. Okay, so we have array. An array is a data type which allows us to group multiple items into one single unit. Okay, for now, it does not mean anything. Let us have a look at an example and it will be clear. So what are we saying? Array allows us to group multiple items into one single unit. Fine. How do we do that? So the way we declare an array is, I'm saying int is the data type. Marks is my variable, but now we put square brackets after marks is equal to new int. What data type we want? Integer data type, square bracket 3. Okay. What does this mean? Now it means it is going to allocate continuous memory to store 3 integer variables. Okay, because I've given the size as 3, is going to allocate memory to store 3 variables now. Okay, so in memory, we know int data type uses 4 bytes. So assume these are first 4 bytes, then the next 4, and the next 4. So total 12 bytes will be allocated in memory. Okay. Marks will be the variable which will refer to it, because we are saying marks is a reference data type. So marks will contain the address of the starting location of this memory. Okay. Now, all your array elements, they are grouped and they are ordered. Okay, they are in a particular order. They are stored in a particular order. And the index, the way to access them is using something known as an index, which will start from 0 to size of the array minus 1. Because the counting is going to start from 0, the end is not going to be the size of the array, which is 3. It will be 1 less than 3. So you will have 0, 1, and 2 as your index. Most programming languages, counting starts from 0, and hence the end is never the size, but size minus 1. Okay. This is the index. How do you access? Now we grouped it together. Okay, so we grouped everything together. But if I want to access individual array elements, you access them using the array name along with the index. Now, what does that mean? What is the array name? Array name is marks. The index will be either 0, 1, or 2. Fine. So if I say marks square bracket 0 is equal to 20, that means I'm saying assign 20 equal to is a right to left operator. Remember that. So 20 goes into marks square bracket 0. That means index location 0. So 20 will go in this first box. Okay. Similarly, marks 1 is 24. So marks 1 will go in the second index location. Okay. Second location, index will be 1. And continuing, marks square bracket 2 is 21. So the third location with index 2 gets 21. Okay. I hope that is clear. This is how we have created a new array of integers of size 3. Okay. Having looked at the example, let us just focus how do we declare and create arrays. An array, like all other data types, we have to declare before we can use it. What does the array declaration consist of? 3 things: the data type, the name of the array, and the size of the array. Okay. So how do we do that? So what are we saying? We mention the data type. Okay. The name of the array followed by the square bracket equal to new. We need the new because we want to allocate that much memory location for those elements. Okay. So new, what type? Same type over here, and the size. There are 2 ways to do this. Okay. The only change is regarding the square bracket on the left. Okay. You can give the square bracket after the variable name, or you can give the square bracket after the data type. Both are valid. Okay. Both are correct syntactically. Okay. Size is always right. We never specify the size on the left-hand side. Remember that size has to be correct or size has to be right. So size will be always on the right-hand side of the declaration. Okay. So looking at an example, if I write this int square bracket num, which means num is a variable which is an array of integers. Okay, if you read this reverse, num is a variable which is an array of integers. What is the size of this particular array? We have specified it on the right hand side by saying allocate memory for 10 integers. Okay, so using the new keyword is always used to allocate memory. Remember that. So num is a variable, reference variable, which will point to this memory location for content, which will have 10 space for 10 integer variables. Okay. Index, because there are 10, index will be from 0 to 9. Okay. 0 to size minus 1. So in this case, size is 10. So the last index will be 10 minus 1, which is 9. Whenever we create something using the new operator, okay, the elements get initialized to their default values for that particular data type. Now, for the int data type, the default value is 0, correct? So, all the array elements at this point will have 0 in them. Okay, so I hope it is clear. How do we declare an array? Okay, 2 different types, only the square bracket, whether we place it after the variable name or we place it after the data type. Okay, this is creating a new array. Now, the second way of doing it is we can declare and initialize the array element at the same time. Okay, how do we do this? So, the left-hand side remains the same. You have the data type, name of the array, square bracket, equal to. Now, instead of using the new operator to allocate memory, which will create memory and assign a default value to that particular data type, what we are doing is we have to use curly brackets here and we can give the values. Okay, 2 different syntax, square bracket after the variable name or square bracket after the data type. Okay. What Java does in this case is it will count the number of values and create or allocate memory location for that many values or that many elements. Example, if I write here int marks as an array with square bracket equal to curly braces, do note when you want to initialize, you have to use curly braces. Here I have given 5 values. So it will count that, the Java compiler will count that, or the execution will count that, and it will allocate memory for 5 integers. And instead of giving them default value of 0 for int, it will give them the values in this particular order. Okay, so index 0 gets 20. Okay, so index 0 gets 20, 25, 23, so on. Okay, this is array declaring and initializing at the same time. Next thing is, how do we find the length of the array? The length is the number of elements present in the array. Okay. And there is an instance variable for the array data type. There is an instance variable called length, which we can use to find out the size of the array. Okay. So whatever is your array name, dot length will give you the number of elements present in that array, or also known as the size of the array. If I say int marks is equal to curly braces because I'm initializing it. Okay. What happens? Marks is a variable pointing to a memory location containing 5 integer values. If I print now the marks dot length variable, okay, it's a variable. Do note that we just write the array name dot length. What are we saying? Length will print number of elements. How many elements are present? 5 elements. Okay, so the output in this case will be 5. Index is from 0 to 4. Number of elements is 5. Okay, I hope that is clear. That's it for now. Happy learning.